What's going on? I figured today, assuming the 10s are going to be out by Friday, that we would talk a little bit about some of the cards that are going to be premiering in this set. Now, they are anime support for the most part, and unlike the 2019 ones, they're not going to really be that competitively viable for the most part, but I figured nonetheless it would be interesting to go over them anyways. So let's get down to it. When this card is activated, add one Winged Dragon of Ra, or one card that mentions it from your deck to your hand, except the True Sun God. Monsters except the Winged Dragon of Ra cannot attack the turn they are special summoned. Once per turn during your main phase, you can send this card from the field, or one Winged Dragon of Ra, Immortal Phoenix, from your deck to the graveyard. Then send one Winged Dragon of Ra monster from your monster zone to the graveyard. You can only activate the True Sun God once per turn. Now, what I like about this card specifically is it allows you to search for any Ra support, and of course you can't really attack when anything but Ra, but if you're gonna Ra OTK anyways, it doesn't really matter. Also, it allows you to send, do the whole Merrick strategy of sending Ra to the graveyard. You gotta love that feature. The Breaking Ruin God. The activation of this card or its effects cannot be negated, nor can its effects be negated. Special summon one Obelisk the Tormentor from your hand or graveyard, and if you do, it is unaffected by your opponent's card effects this turn. If you tribute two or more monsters you control at the same time to activate your card or effect, while you control Obelisk the Tormentor, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Banish all monsters in your opponent's graveyard, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each. You can only use this effect of the Breaking Ruin God once per turn. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this card is actually kind of broken for God card support. It not only gets you a free Obelisk on the board that, Obelisk already can't be destroyed by, I think it's card effects? Yeah, try not being able to do jack shit to a 4000 beast. And what's even better is, this card is literally a spell speed 4 called by the grave if you are able to pull off Obelisk's effect. If this card existed in any other archetype, it'd be downright broken. Oh, let's not forget about the fact that it burns you for 500 for each monster banished. Jesus fucking Christ. Alright, this is where we really start getting into the anime vibes. Soul Energy Max. If you control Obelisk the Tormentor, whose original attribute is Divine, in your monster zone, tribute two other face-up monsters. Destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, inflict 4000 damage to your opponent. During the main or battle phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Add one Obelisk the Tormentor from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon one Obelisk the Tormentor. You can only use each effect of Soul Energy Max once per turn. Now, the thing I like about this card the most is the fact that it basically gives you Obelisk's original anime effect, which not only destroyed all your monsters, but it was considered an attack. So it blew up their whole board, and then it basically inflicted 4000 damage. Broken. Other than that, this card is basically just generic Obelisk support. It allows you to get it back from graveyard or even your deck, and then normal summon it. Provided, of course, that it has its attributes stay divine, and that you basically have this card in the graveyard. Pretty good for the card overall. Now on to my personal favorite, if for nothing else than the mere fact that it's not only Slifer support, but the fact that it has Silent Magician on it, representing that last scene from the anime before Yugi flipped over Monster Reborn from the gold sarcophagus that basically sealed him from reviving Slifer and basically sending a 10 to his grave. The Revived Sky God. The activation of this card or its effects cannot be negated, nor can its effects be negated. They really like putting those claws on these cards, don't they? Special summon one Slifer the Sky Dragon from your graveyard. Then each player draws until they have 6 cards in their hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Place one Monster Reborn from your deck or graveyard on top of your deck. Then, if a Divine Beast monster is in your graveyard, draw one additional card. You can only use each effect of the Revived Sky God once per turn. I don't know what it is about them wanting to make God card support broken, but I'm kind of liking it. Any card that lets you draw, always pretty good, even if it's at the cost of your opponent being able to draw. The only problem I've really seen with this card that's come up within the last couple weeks, considering that we've known about these cards for at least a few weeks now. The only thing that's come up is that apparently if one player is not able to draw cards, including your opponent, so if they have 6 cards in their hand, you actually can't resolve or even attempt to activate the effect of the Revived Sky God. I guess that's the ultimate counter to this card, boys. Just make sure you don't overextend and have 6 cards and you end turn, I guess. But yeah, other than that, broken. If it was in any other deck, this would be an instant ban. Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. Some GX support, I see. If there are 2 or more different monster types among the level 10 or higher monsters on the field, shuffle all cards except this one from both players' hands, fields, and graveyard into the deck. Then, each player draws 5 cards. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Add 1 Crystal Beast monster or 1 field spell from your deck to your hand. You can only apply each effect of Rainbow Bridge of Salvation once per duel. So that's a hard, like, you can only use like 1 of these cards. There's not even any real worth in running 3 unless you have a use for the trap somehow. Once per duel. Very fascinating. And really, it's not hard to really see why, considering that if you tech in something like Come On, Lord of Striking Thunder, or even cards like Exodius, getting a level 10 is very easy. So you literally have a fiber jar and a trap that allows you to get a Crystal Beast and their field spell. So it really isn't hard to see why they only want you to use 1 of them per duel. I would say overall it's a pretty cute card. I don't see it doing a whole lot in Crystal Beast, but Crystal Beast is already a deck that needs everything it can get. Any OG fans remember this place? Yeah, you remember. Dual Tower Alcatraz. At the start of each battle phase, each player can reveal 1 monster from their deck that does not have a question mark attack. You banish them face down. Then the player who revealed the monster with the highest attack, each player if tied, can special summon 1 monster from their hand, and it can attack directly while on the field. Once per turn during the end phase, you can activate this effect. If you control this card during the end phase of your next turn, destroy all cards on the field. So a bit of a fun fact, as I alluded to right at the beginning, yeah, this card is called Dual Tower Alcatraz, giving vibes to, you know, yeah, the Yu-Gi-Oh anime was buck wild. But anyways, this is one of those risky gambit cards, I guess, to see who has the higher attacking monster in hand. Both players will banish them, and then if you, I don't know, I could see Blue Eyes maybe running this card, because if you have a bunch of 3,000 attack point monsters, it's gonna be hard for your opponent to be able to, like, have something to beat it, especially if they're playing combo. So, you know, have Blue Eyes, banish a Blue Eyes, then get Blue Eyes on board, and then you even get the neat little effect of being able to attack directly. It's cute. Again, very select decks will use it. Like I said, I could see Galaxy Eyes, Blue Eyes, a lot of decks that have these very big bricky monsters. I could see them maybe trying to use this card, and then you get the bonus of being able to nuke the board if things don't quite go your way. You know, if your opponent doesn't know what to TK you, that is. Yeah, it's interesting. Alright, now time for my actual favorite one. Into the Brains! Special summon 1 monster from your hand, but negate its effects. Then immediately after this effect resolves, Link summon 1 Link monster using monsters you control as material, including that monster. This Link summon cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is Link summoned by this way. If a Link monster you control is destroyed by battle or by card effect, while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card. Add 1 monster from your graveyard to your hand, but the same original type as one of those destroyed monsters. You can only activate 1 Link into the Brains per turn. Now, what I like about this card is that if Link summoning wasn't already generic enough, this one allows you to do so, basically interruptible free, if they don't negate the spell card, that is. It allows you to instantly link into a monster, and then, sure, they might be able to negate its effects. They can't negate its summoning. They might be able to negate its effects. But if they strike it, you have the potential to use its second effect to maybe get that resource back somehow. I don't know. Any card that just lets you special summon and then let you go into a mechanic for free is usually pretty good. It kind of reminds me of that card for XYZ monsters called Rank Up Magic, the 7th one. Now that card specifically, you needed to draw into it for your turn, but this card you just kind of activate, and provided you have an extra card to go into. Even better if you have a whole field full of monsters. It's really not that bad. Very interesting card indeed. I'd like to see where this one goes actually, as I'll probably be testing with it myself. Into the Brains!